gun laws in Connecticut if she wouldn't have lied on her application for her permit to purchase.
Describe mentally ill.
Or some what Lanza was.
Well, I don't know. I don't.
Unstable.
You
unable to.
Well, I was going to say you tell me what he was, because obviously I don't know. I didn't hear what they classified him as.
I know he had a mental illness. That's all I knew. And he wasn't, by Connecticut law, he was unfit to own a firearm, and so was his mother while he was in her care.
So because he was living with her, she shouldn't have had the guns.
According to a permit to purchase, she was not allowed to have that.
Okay, but
she lied on her application. That's how she got the AR.
Right, but there's been several neighbors that have come forward and stated that Adam Lanza had not been in the neighborhood for quite some time. I mean, a matter of years, and then just kind of showed up.
So, he may have run away. I don't know what happened, but I knew legally he was in her mother's care.
Well, not if what the neighbors say is true.
Well, it's not. Well, she wasn't in the legally. He had a legal guardian because he was mentally unstable.
Okay, you keep saying mentally unstable, but I mean, are we talking like bipolar?
I don't know.
Okay, because
all I know is he was mentally unstable enough not to be allowed to own a firearm.
Well, because here's the thing, and this has been brought up in the gun control debate. Is they want to put a provision in for mental health or mental illness, but the big question is okay, what mental illnesses would disqualify a person from owning a firearm?
I mean, that would be up to medical professionals,
right? But I mean,
I'm not a psychologist. I couldn't tell you what would.
Right, but even with psychologists and in the medical field, things get pretty political in there. You might, different ideologies or whatever. So, to leave it up to a doctor to decide.
No, not a doctor, a group, like a Congress of doctors.
A Congress of doctors.
Okay. You have them all agree on something.
So, how many people are we talking?
Well, I don't know. Just get like 50 doctors together and have them all discuss. You can't pay off all of them.
Okay. Well, actually, you probably could, but...
yeah. I mean...
But, okay, so 50 doctors, and they're going to examine...
Discuss what would count as unfit to own firearm.
Okay.
As in what psychologically drives, what diseases are the most and the least likely to cause a snap into a murderer.
Well, okay. Well, and that's the thing. Not everyone knows what mental illness creates a murderer or a rapist or whatever. I mean, because someone can have the same illness but live a completely productive life with no problems. But one other just turns into a murderer. So that's why I'm wondering. I mean, you're talking about individuals here, and it almost sounds like we're trying to classify, yet another classification for the people. Which do we really need to be classified anymore? I mean, you got white, you got black. I mean, we're divided by race, we're divided by political ideology, by religion. I mean,
I'm just saying, if you want to go through this whole process, it's your choice to go through the process.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Just like with your driver's license, you agree to abide by the laws of the road in order to drive on them.
All right, fair enough. All right, so Now, Rick, Rick, you can just call in. But he says mentally unstable is a very broad term. Like I said, yep. The government wants to deem many things as mentally unstable to fit their gun grab agenda. There were some Democrats wanting to deem Christianity as a mental illness. Need to be careful with how we use the term mentally disabled.
Okay, how about this? Anybody who has a strong history of hurting others or themselves. If you want to know what I would say, I'm not an expert, but what I would say is anybody who has a strong history of hurting themselves or hurting others.
Define strong history.
The strong history, let's say they used to get in fights all the time, and they still get in fights all the time, and let's say they have depression, and they cut themselves.
Okay, wait a minute. Depression. Okay. You say depression, and then now instantly you've already included 80% of Americans.
No, I said people who are depressed and cut themselves. I've just said.
All right, so people who are depressed and actually hurt themselves or try to commit suicide or something like that.
Exactly.
Okay, now would you put a time limit on this? I mean, or would this just be, for your entire adult life?
Well, yeah, for your entire life period. If you're just turning 18 and they have your children's history, 17 and got into a fight like 3 months before your birthday, that should still be there. Should still be able to see.
Yeah, and now talking about depression, Chris in the chat room is saying, well, then there goes most of the military personnel. I mean, the administration is using this.
Any soldier that's suicidal should probably not be owning a firearm. Honestly, do you really think that that's a good thing?
Well, here's the thing: any man or woman that came back from war, I will give them every chance in the world because one, they deserve it, but two, the administration.
Oh yeah, well, anybody who's suicidal should have the chance to reverse their diagnosis. If they have suicidal, if they were suicidal, and they show improvement and aren't suicidal anymore.
But if you allow me to finish here, what I'm trying to tell you is that the administration has come out and stated that most if not all, veterans would be deemed unable to own firearms because they probably have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder.
See, that's garbage.
I'm
not saying if you have depression you shouldn't own a gun. I'm saying if you attempt to commit suicide or you attempt to hurt others constantly, you're not. Okay. If it happens one time, okay, I understand it happens. If it happens 100 times or 10 times or 7 times, it's getting a little much.
Okay, well, all right. So, what happens if that one time just happens to be a mall shooting? You can't murder another fool. I'm just exploring this. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to put you in the hot seat or trying to ruffle your feathers too much or anything. I'm just exploring this because the further and further you get into this, when you talk about gun control and mental illness and stuff like that, there's so many questions that come up. Okay, what mental illnesses are there? You say, some say depression. Well, there goes, 80% of American citizens and most military personnel. PTSD, that would be something, most veterans, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan, World War II, stuff like, personnel like that. Basically, by the time you're all said and done, you basically covered almost 100% of the population. Because it's almost become biblical where, and I know you're a big Christian, where Jesus says, he who is without sin cast the first stone. Well, basically, there wouldn't be anyone that wouldn't be without sin according to the government.
I'm not saying without sin. I'm saying
No. I know. I'm just saying metaphorically.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when when the gun grab and you really get down into it and you include all of this stuff, you basically include about 100% of the American population. Is what I'm trying to get at. Is that no one would be able to get a gun because of some reason or another.
Oh, you're saying what could happen?
Right. Exactly. So
yeah, no, I understand that aspect, and that scares me too. I mean, it's a tough place to be in. But I'm saying if there's some way to restrict that, I don't know what way it would be, but if you have a history of being suicidal, if you have a history of harming other people, like getting in fights all the time, you probably shouldn't own a firearm.
Okay.
Because that is the kind of person that would be enticed to use it.
Okay. Well, and I don't know. Maybe you have to think about this a little bit more, or look into this more, or something. I don't know, because Rick is saying at least what he's kind of gathering what you're saying is that you're against background checks because it's a form of government control, but yet you're okay with government deciding who is mentally unstable and who is not. Sounds like you're going down the wrong path on this one, he says. So,
I wish he would call in.
Well, I wish he would call in too, but I mean, if the man can't call in, the man can't call in. So, but anyways, let's just get off this gun control, because we can sit here and talk forever and ever and ever, and you really just get nowhere. Okay. But obviously, we agree definitely that the Second Amendment is under attack, is still under threat under the UN's armed treaty, and even though Fox News might tell you that gun owners have nothing to worry about, I say that's bullshit, because I mean, UN troops are already on U.S. soil. DHS is armed and ready. I'm sure the FEMA camps are ready, built, or those that aren't built, are looking to get built within a 72-hour notice. But
not only that, the NSA is hacking our cell phone.
Oh yeah, well and basically all cell phone, you know all about that. But anyways, so all that shit's going on right now. So, but and even though they're saying that the Constitution trumps the treaty, well, guess what? The Constitution isn't going to stop a marching army coming in and taking over the United States under the flag of the UN. The Constitution is not going to stop that. The American people, however, can stop it.
That's right. General, I think his name was Yashimoto from Japan, said,
Admiral.
I would never try to invade America because there would be a gun under every blade of grass.
Yeah, it's Admiral Yamamoto.
Yeah, oh, okay. Did I say Yashimoto?
I don't know, but you said general. But he was actually an admiral of the Japanese Navy. But yeah, he actually said that because the Japanese emperor was wanting to invade the U.S. mainland after Pearl Harbor, and that's when he said, if you do that, there'd be a rifle behind every blade of grass. Well, in this day and age, I think there'd be probably about 2 rifles behind every blade of grass now. But but here's the thing: is World War II era, 1940s. That was a different time.
Those were real Americans.
Right. Well, those were real Americans, but they were also patriotic Americans. I mean, they believed in the country, and they believed in what they were fighting for, and yes, I'll say people believed in the government, and helped chipped in with the rationing and and stuff like that, and we right now